My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft.
License plate 5JUR436, I believe. That's a stalker engaging in what is surveillance at Vesta and Vine. And the moment that I aim my camera, I'm in the dark on the sidewalk at a distance. The moment that I aim my camera in that direction, this is when this third party that is engaged in surveillance in the middle of the night reverses, driving in the wrong direction on the street, stalking and doing so, and crosses paths. License 7NSW45. I can't really see the rest of them. This is the entity that's a threat while stalkers are out engaging in that conduct. This is, again, the prosecution of the government while a population is being documented engaged in all manner of psychotic, sexually violent, harassing, and terrorizing behaviors with regard to surveilling me on behalf of this government that's maintaining this system. They're going to be prosecuted for that, meaning you're losing your position. You're going to federal prison. I will be prosecuting, receiving civil damages. The people of the state are being prosecuted, but the government itself is going to be liable, is going to be held responsible under the law for what the people of the state, who are demons, gang stalking, sponsored by the government, for what they are engaging in. License 5, Victor Edward Bob 691. It is, by the way, currently 5:35 a.m. on Wednesday, February 18, 2026. This is P.O.C. Stalking. License plate. I can't really see that third party, but let me get these license because they're pacing with these third parties. Stalking, where their facilitating venues remain. License 8, Yolanda 52285. at 153 Vine Avenue in Ontario, California. License 8 Jerry Xavier Edward 318. This is P.O.C. Look at this shot. In the shopping site's audible activity, look at the perpendicular shadows, and they're pacing in and out. Audible activity. These are the employees, and Don Quinones is inside monitoring as well, and they're doing so with the airport. Demon stalking with light, doing so with the airport. Okay, this is the P.O.C. You already know that the Ontario International Airport flies right over my head at this entrance. They're engaging in equally damning criminal conduct, having no basis under the law, gang stalking with Stater Brothers and the people of the state by doing a cartwheel as opposed to their customary lap right entrance in sync with the demons that intentionally pace outside while on the job, gang stalking as Stater Brothers and the Ontario Village Shopping Center. This is P.O.C. Don Quinones is a terrorist leader. He's not a manager. Criminal surveillance by the state that's in furtherance of murder while you are maintaining a fraudulent business. Stater Brothers is not about groceries. Stater Brothers is about surveillance. And that's why the government is engaging in cartwheels at 5:55 in the morning, deviating from where there are any flights that would take off. And that's not even a flight takeoff. That's just engaging in what is stalking in the sky space while demons are pacing in and out of the entrance. This is 646 West Holt Boulevard, 7CKS 778. That's an unlawful touching. P.O.C. Okay, stalking where you live. And this is gang membership. This is 218 C Street. And engaging in what is relevant positioning. And you're identifying stalking not based on where they pay their rent or their mortgage or where they receive their welfare stamps. But it's where the entity, first of all, gang members are stalking with her. Go ahead. This is cross paths with the airport. License plate. I got documented these before. 8SMV160, documented that demon before. M760HO, light activity across the curb. That's how you're identifying stalking. And this is the fake sun right here where the airport is stalking as I'm going through the neighboring license plate. All right, and they're doing so while the entity has the fake sun over this same building. This is 218 C Street. This is the demon that's stalking it into your life, threatening to kidnap with the Ontario police while she's stalking with that same entity. And she's doing so while coming out of her home. It's not enough for her to cross path inside. To come out and affirmatively engage in the elements of monitoring is an unlawful threat, while the government does so by stalking you by plane and helicopter. And you're also uttering threats to engage in criminal summoning. That's prison. Okay, license 56985C3, impossible light. That's how you're identifying stalking. And so are you where you live. License 9LYY021. The gang members that are aiding in what is federal prison for this third party at 218 C Street. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the psychopathic pacing that Stater Brothers was engaged in. The fake sun's no longer over Stater Brothers. It's remaining right here. That's the P.O.C. This is federal prison, and it is the shutdown of the Ontario International Airport, as you see, as they are aiding in terrorism and the conspiracy to murder. This is psychological torture, and it's mentally ill behavior. These demons that are stalking are murdering people that are aboard those planes.
All right, this is stalking through the neighborhood, while the fake sun is I'm showing you their venues where they live and the fake sun moving as I move. 5HZB779 is stalking. And sunlight's not going to move across buildings or the curb or anything, nor would the sun still be on this street. Remember, this is C Street. The fake sun is remaining over the same location when I'm walking on this street at 11 o'clock in the morning. All right, when you're following around the block as you're stalking because you're a hostile demon who is being exposed and criminally prosecuted, that's the entity that's going to be both committed, and in addition to the gang stalking pilots are going to be committed, and they're going to prison. All right, there's no takeoff over here. This is the OVITT Family Community Library, where you know that this fake sun is setting in alignment to me here, and the entity is engaging in what is gang stalking, ongoing terrorism, and harassment upon documentation, which is criminal obstruction. The Ontario International Airport is a national security threat, not only because mentally ill people have access to pilot licenses, they're engaged in criminal activity. It's terrorism. 7CIN029 is a gang member, and they're targeting with the third party here. 9PZF062, who is following me around the neighborhood, stalking me with the Ontario Police, and that's a matter of video evidence as well. You are engaging in terrorism where you live, where you work, and as you travel, which is what the P.O.C. shows. This is the pattern of conduct, and you are targeting me when you are coming outside in that specific environment to engage in criminal activity that you presuppose would result in the defamation of another, the one whom you are conspiring to murder. That's an unlawful threat. It's criminal activity. It's relevant to federal RICO and the federal stalking statute. And you're also engaging in what is an unlawful threat with that government while you are gang stalking in the convenient manner, such as has the people of the state do, just engaging in surveillance. It's criminal. It's not protected. It's not private speech. And it's also the government that's engaging in that. This is P.O.C. This is the evidence that's going to serve to prosecute the Ontario Board, the Ontario Executive Team, the gang stalking airlines, the City of Ontario. This is P.O.C. at what is 7:45 a.m. Okay, so just recall if I'm walking down, and I'll attach that video, because I'm walking down at the same venue where this third party is documented heavily. That's engineer light on her car because it's not the sun. So you're understanding the illusion and the prosecution within that illusion, and that same illusion that this entity is targeting in is going to be the basis of committing the entity that's gang stalking. They're mentally ill. The same venue at 10 o'clock in the morning right here, my shadow appearing in the depths of the little hallway here in the shadows while a gang stalker walks on the sidewalk. That's 10 o'clock in the morning. That's 3 hours from now. And I'm also walking down the street to where C Street and Euclid is at 11. And the entity has the fake sun over my head in the same way that it is right now at 7:45 a.m. when it's hanging right there under the street sign of what is B Street, and this fakes me. I'll attach those videos. This is P.O.C. It is 7:46 a.m. Alrighty, this is of terrorism. This is a demon that's parking, and I'm going to show you the fake sun behind me. You can see the engineer light that's on the ground. It's not sunlight. As they are parking, this is a demon-possessed person that's at a distance, ostensibly a stranger, minding their business, not violating the law, and certainly not stalking. This is the malice of what the government is engaging in. This person is going to be prosecuted. This is a demon-possessed person who's going to be federally prosecuted under RICO. They are serving of Wells Fargo, a gang stalker. Wells Fargo is engaged in terrorism and is stalking me, and is a violent sex offender, and is doing so while making money, while the property of Wells Fargo is used to accost me, terrorize me, touch me at a distance, supernaturally. And I've proven the supernatural feature. They're all stalking as well, while a demon touches me while they merely park in a parking space, and I am being touched with light all the way over there at the wall. And also the evidence proving that is that this is not, that is still at the same Ontario Town Square after 4 p.m. That would still be shining through the doors of the OVITT Family Community Library after 4 p.m. That would have any such sunlight, like what this is supposed to be, on the grounds inside of the depths of the library after 4 p.m. And the OVITT Family Community Library is right here. This is license 9 Henry Yolanda Xavier 773. They're going to be executed for conspiring my murder, engaging in what is the perpetual sex offense as a population. That is thousands of people every day sexually violating me, keeping my vagina under surveillance as well. This is a sex offender, another one who I have just documented specifically. This is an entity that's engaged in the pattern of conduct as I encounter them. They're monitoring my vagina all day long inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, and that's why they are touching me with impossible light, and that is the evidence of stalking. They have the engineer light underneath the car, where sunlight's not going to be when the fake sun or the natural environment has the sun along the passenger side of the vehicle. This demon is parked in engineer light. This demon is targeting me under the fake sun, and is doing so with specific knowledge of who I am. This is the Ontario Police Department. This is the city of Ontario. This is the U.S. government. This is not a private citizen. And this is a criminal defendant. I'm going to prosecute the third party, and I'm going to prosecute the government. I'm going to prosecute the government that is utilizing businesses to engage in it. You will be federally prosecuted when your property is used as a means of relevant positioning light activity during or outside of business hours. In the same way that you're witnessing, they are targeting American citizens. This is P.O.C. Just wanted to document that. That's a sex offense. This is what Sarah's Regis Group is doing when I'm sitting at the same Ontario Town Square and the demons are pacing in and out of the garage while they're molesting with impossible light activity. They're doing it in the same specific environment. That's why I went through that garage and I documented all their license plates. The demon possessed are highly unintelligent and they repeat the same supernatural pattern of conduct over and over and over again. And they also do it with impunity. So while they walk about and engaging in what is gang stalking in your face, like I'm documenting on video, they're going to rapidly escalate their criminal case for terrorism to time in federal prison. P.O.C. This is state action, and the entity is stalking here at the Ontario Town Square, where I'm showing you the fake sun is here. I've been documenting, and the entity has the fake sun here at 6 p.m. Remember the Route 66 car show, where this fake sun is right here, and who's stalking by helicopter? All right, that's the prosecution of Mike LORENZ. All right, and so is that. That's the prosecution of Mike LORENZ. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the third plane upon my departure from the OVITT Family Community Library. This is the 280 North Limit Apartments. That's the Senior Center. That's Securitas. That's psychopathic pacing with lights swiping around. Securitas is monitoring. That's Leo. Leo's the one that likes to commit sexual assault and battery with engineer light while he is stalking me. He's doing so with the government that is stalking as well, because there are no planes from the terminals where they are engaging in conducting flights, which are also published on the website. And this is outside of what is published. And it's also outside of the territory of the airport where you are taking off from Terminal 2 or Terminal 4. In addition to that, the frequency with regard to the public nuisance, which is relevant to the harassment and the terrorism by stalking that the Ontario International Airport is still engaging in while they are watching every video published. American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Delta Airlines, of them stalking me for years, and they have not slowed down with regard to terrorism. This is relevant to the damages that the entity is going to be liable for, and it's also relevant to the shutdown of the Ontario International Airport. It's relevant to federal prison terms. It's relevant to the commitments of the psychopaths that are stalking in planes. The entities engaged, they are engaging in surveillance of the evidence as well as based on the nature of the crime of gang stalking. It's currently 9:15 p.m. I exited the venue at 9 o'clock, and the entity is engaged in what is ongoing serial stalking, maintaining flight right here, one plane after another, and that's the third one. I want to get video of that. And this is while the Securitas is gang stalking. Securitas, the company, and the Ontario International Airport, every airline, are sharing in the pattern of conduct. And this is what the OVITT Family Community Library has been engaged in all day, gang stalking me. Here's my shadow right here while you hear the audible activity of a train. Here's another shadow. It's monitoring. There's my shadow. And Union Pacific is going to be federally prosecuted with regard to the ongoing pattern of conduct. And this is evidence about the stalking by the airport that you just witnessed while they're hovering over a senior citizen complex. This is the pattern of conduct. It's P.O.C. It's currently 9:16 p.m.